Alright everyone, I'm back. And also sorry I didn't get to do a review on the Like a Movie 2 game, but we had to do some stuff, so yeah. So anyway, tonight I'm back and have a pretty good, interesting theory and a lot of questions about it. And what do you think? I know what you're thinking. What am I talking about? Well, Lego Dimensions. Let's all be real. This game has so many questions, so many unanswered stuff, and a huge fan base, so I figured it's about time we get all this out. And I know what you're thinking. What's the theory? Well, it has to do with the fact that Dimensions is either A, not canon to anything, B, it's not even real and exists in an alternate reality or timeline, or C, it's just a canon in the Lego game universe. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Dimensions has to probably happen either between Lego Movie 1 and Lego Movie 2, or not. And here's why. Okay, so in Lego Movie 1, we all know that Lord Business turns good, and he quits being evil. Right? Well, that's what we were assumed to believe. But come a year later, Dimensions takes a whole twist on that, saying, oh, Lord Business is evil again. So we're all thinking, okay, so that just happened. And another thing, Cloud Cuckoo Land still exists in Dimensions, but we all know in Lego Movie 1, it blew up due to the attack on the Master Builders. So we're all wondering to ourselves, is any of this real? It could be. It couldn't be. Now, here's the thing. Dimensions may not be real because we all know none of that ever happened, because in Lego Movie 2, Lord Business was still good and never went evil, and Cloud Cuckoo Land doesn't exist anymore. It's pretty much not a unit kingdom. So, as we all know, Vortex never appeared in a movie, any of them, so we can't really say if he's real or not, because we all know he got vanished. So either they probably forgot he was real, but then again, he may be real in another reality, because as we learned in Lego Movie 2, Rex is from an alternate timeline reality, so when he met Emmett and told him he is him, it wasn't really, that Emmett's not really the Emmett we know and love from the first movie, like this one is. No. Rex is the original timeline's Emmett, so that means basically when Rex died, the whole first movie's timeline pretty much got screwed up, sort of, we guess, and this Emmett's now the second universe's real Emmett. So now going back to Dimensions, where does this come in? Because that means if the Lego Movie 2 sort of has an alternate reality now, could Dimensions also be another reality? Or is it still in the first movie's timeline? Because as we all know, when the second movie started, it kicked off right where the first movie started. So basically, there's a huge gap in between 1 and 2. Because as we've seen from what Lucy told us, they tried to rebuild and restore, but the Duplo aliens kept. So maybe they all fled to Cloud Cuckoo Land and rebuilt it as a sanctuary until the alien invaders left, but maybe while they were trying to flee from the Duplos, Vortex plan came into action and started to screw stuff up, so that's why they would have had to go save the universe. And then after they saved every dimension, they came back to Bricksburg only to find it was still defeated, so they just gave up and Lego Movie 2 happened. Now, this could be true. This couldn't be true. Because there's also another possibility of the Lego Movie 2 having yet another timeline with the Unikitty show, and what I mean by that is, we all know it's canon pretty much by now, we think, but there's still a slight chance it either happened before Lego Movie's timeline even began, or after Lego Movie 2, due to Puppy Corn and the Unit Kingdom's castle being in the movie. So we don't know about that. But anyway, another reason a lot of people are saying this, it doesn't happen, is because of the portal story being fake. And dimensions too, not really contributing to the real story. So, yet again, we could have a possibility of any of this happening. And still, another piece of evidence is the Lord of the Rings story. We all know Gandalf dies and becomes Gandalf the White. But he doesn't die in dimensions, so basically, the continuity of that got screwed up too. So, all I'm saying is dimensions is having a big, hard chunk of is it real or not in its story. So basically, another good piece of evidence is that Emmett lost a piece of resistance at the end of the first movie because of the Craggle being exploded. But if dimensions is in another timeline reality, that means Emmett would have won the battle with Lord Business, but him still being evil means that you don't have the piece of resistance. So basically, the point is, Emmett's not supposed to be a master builder, but yet in the game, he master builds. So, I know that's a part of gameplay mechanic, but in reality, Emmett shouldn't be able to master build because if it wasn't for Business still doing what he did, he wouldn't have became one. And yet another thing is this. How was Lucy and the others able to, Lucy most importantly, able to be alive in other universes? Because in the Lego Movie 2, she didn't know she was a toy until towards the end of the movie. So anyway, how was she able to really be alive with Batman and Gandalf whenever, if she would have left her universe, she would have been nothing but plastic? So, that's kind of hard to believe. But then again, maybe something happened that Lucy just realized, or maybe dimensions could have took place after Lego Movie 2 and Lucy was able to move around because she realized she was real. But then that whole Cuckoo Land and Lord Business thing wouldn't make sense, so technically it's just a big headache. But I did read on the Wikipedia that Lord Vortex's main job is to look over the Lego universe and keep everything in order and balance in the Lego multiverse. So basically that means, because Lucy did say in the first movie, there are other realms besides our own that we still don't know about. So basically that could mean that Vortex is the keeper of all dimensions and realms and realities, which he is. So that basically could mean dimensions still could happen. But who knows? Because we still don't know. And if dimensions would have continued and the Lego Movie 2 stuff would have been added, then that meant, yeah, it could have been canon. I mean, it should have been. Especially if they added Unikitty's TV show content. So, this theory is getting really out of hand, and I know y'all thinking, why you're talking about this? This game's old. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people still don't know who New Vortex is. I mean, it could be anyone, for crying out loud. Anyone. And also, a lot of other people still don't know, like, where Vortex went, what happened to him, and basically, the game's still not over with New Vortex. So basically, if they ever do decide to make a sequel, they could add some of this, and they could explain, alternate timeline, or, oh yeah, it is canon to the whole Lego Movie universe. But no one knows, and we still need to find out. So anyway, there's also another thing that's kind of pretty confusing. Whenever Dimensions came out, everyone was so excited to play the story, no one really questioned any continuity. Like, since there's two Ghostbusters universe, and I know that, yeah, they put both of them in there just because, but here's what people aren't realizing. How is it possible to mess with the past and the future and bring stuff in without a time loop bend that could destroy reality? Heck, even Doctor Who says it himself. It's not a good idea to really mess too much with this space-time continuum stuff. And yet another thing too that means that dimensions can be canon is how and why. Because Ninjago was never in their Tournament of Elements state. Well, basically phase when Dimensions came out pretty much after, from what I heard. So basically, that shouldn't have happened either. And Cole should have been a ghost. Yeah, think about that. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on, but the point is, if we take this out and we take this out and we just look at this carefully and closely, there may be some answers. And I'm hoping if anyone from Warner Brothers is watching this, that they can give us a good, clear explanation. Because at this point, I don't even know how to explain it. Because obviously if Dimensions would have happened, where it would have fit in the timeline between 1 and 2, or is it backwards, or what? We don't know. The only point is, if Dimensions did happen, then they would definitely have to remember. Well, basically, it would have to. See, that's just the problem. It would have to be after 2, but then again, stuff that happened in 2 didn't happen in here. Well, stuff that happened in here didn't happen in 2. So basically, Dimensions is a big old what if, maybe? But like I said, there's that alternate timeline reality possibility. So, yeah. Because none of it's making any sense whatsoever. So, and then that also leads to this question. If it is, and there is a, now I'm not gonna go into any more what ifs, I'm gonna go into the ifs. Here's what I was gonna ask. Since in the Lego Movie universe you can apparently meet yourself more than once, and in Dimensions, Batman from the Lego Movie universe and Batman from the DC universe met each other. Just like how Emmett and Rex met each other even though they're the same person. So basically what I'm thinking is, it is in another universe, and it is because, and that's what would make Dimensions canon, because basically Batman from DC Universe never knew that his Lego Movie counterpart existed. So basically, that means Dimensions did happen, but then again, there's so much evidence to back up that it didn't happen. So, yeah. So that means Dimensions canon, but then it's not canon, so it's confusing and hard to follow. And yeah. And another reason it could be canon is because in the Lego Movie game, no, I mean not Lego Movie, the Lego Games saga is what I'm gonna call it. Vortex took Gotham and Metropolis and put it into one, and then Lego DC supervillains from that point on, it was Gotham and Metropolis sort of kind of intertwined and mixed together. So that's something. So maybe that lasting effect from Vortex really did last. And another thing, all the other Lego games basically that kind of had Lego games were in this. And Rex Fury still being chased by Game's arch enemy was true. The whole Indominus Rex escape thing from Lego Jurassic World, true. And another possibility that I came up with of why Lord Business was evil was because during the early times of Dimensions in the Lego Movie, They were just 2 years apart, so basically Rex Dangerous wasn't even created yet. So basically they needed a Dimensions villain for Lego Movie Universe, so he was the only one at the time. Since there was no Risky Business, no Rex Dangerous, no Master Frown, no nothing. And the only other reason, and possible actual reason I came up with the Cloud Cuckoo Land existed in Dimensions, is because basically they needed a location for Metalbeard to get taken, for the characters to be. So basically, Dimensions is real, but not real. So, here's my final verdict. Dimensions is either canon, which is 50% true, not canon, which is a little bit lower now that I think about it, and finally, and most truly, Dimensions is definitely maybe in an alternate reality universe because of the whole business being evil and Cloud Cuckoo Land thing and Portal 2 story not being true, or it's in a different timeline because, like we saw in Lego Movie 2, there are possible different timeline realities due to the whole Rex being Emmett being evil thing. And that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of this theory in the comment below. And if you have any other explanations, let me know, because who knows? And maybe someday if we get a sequel to the game, maybe we'll finally get the answer to all these questions. But for now, all we can do is just theorize and wait. This has been a good theory and a good chat. I will see you all in the next one.